is Super Bowl or bust, the right mentality for the Bucs?
It absolutely is the right mentality, and I knew this topic was really going to irk you, Marcellus. There are a few things Marcellus Wiley hates in this life.
What?
One is vegetables.
Stop that. You have a perfect show so far. Damn.
Two is saying something is Super Bowl or bust. I know you hate that, big dog.
I hate that.
I know you hate it, but for the Buccaneers, this was a pass-fail class. This season, you know, in college when I was at Texas, you could either get graded on the letter grades, A, B, C, D's, E's, and if you bad, you get an F. But then sometimes when you become an upperclassman, you can take classes that are simply pass or fail. For the Buccaneers, this is pass or fail. Yesterday, I conceded to you, Marcellus. I was tired, I guess. Maybe I was fatigued. And you said, so you're telling me, Acho, that if the Buccaneers don't win a Super Bowl, it's a failure? And I didn't respond. I should have.
You went back and watched the tape?
I went back and watched the tape, and I should have said it absolutely is a failure because it is. Tom Brady, you don't leave an organization you've been with for 20 years, an organization in which you've been to 9 Super Bowls, in which you've won 6 Super Bowls. You don't leave that organization simply to go to the playoffs. You don't leave that organization to accomplish less. You leave an organization with the greatest football coach of all time, where you've accomplished the greatest achievements of all time to go accomplish the same, Sal. You don't leave to go get worse. Think about anybody in the working world. Y'all at home, rock with me on this.
Rock with them, baby.
You leave to take a vertical move. You leave to take a vertical step up. You don't have my dog. My dog.
Spider-Man.
I left those 4 letters to take a vertical move. To have my own show.
3 letters.
To have my own show, to be here with you, an educated, intelligent, accomplished individual, to be on a billboard.
Let's say
That's wild. That's why I'm here. For the billboard, so I'm not here for you.
It's coming out.
I wanted to see my name in bright lights on Pico Boulevard. Emmanuel Acho. Now, unfortunately, you're in front of the picture and I'm behind you.
A lot of me is in front of the picture.
Nonetheless, Tom Brady didn't leave New England to achieve less. He left to once again be on a billboard to hoist the Lombardi. So Super Bowl or bust is absolutely the right mentality because it's everyone's mentality who wants to achieve greatness.
Great take for you. I totally disagree with everything you said, except the vegetables part, because I'm struggling. Here's the thing. This is a new PR for me in terms of preparation.
Okay.
I have 3 pages of notes right here, which means 2 things. Either I'm about to get a slam dunk or I'm about to be Shaqtin' the Fool up here in terms of what I'm going to say. I've lived a little longer than you, big dog, and I don't think that makes me smarter, wiser, anything like that in an absolute sense. But I want to say, in my experience, this is what I've come to realize. This world makes you say disingenuous things just to keep the peace, just to keep things flowing, just to keep things PC, the decorum. You got to sometimes go up to the podium. You've been in positions of leadership, being a responsible young man you are, and you pull the string. All right, Acho, say what they need to hear. Ding, 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 ding. It's called players talk. In this situation, it's coaches speak. They just say what they need to say, pandering to their fan base, because that's all their fan base wants to hear. But if this was a real question that had a real answer, we would get something different than Super Bowl or bust. Just like when we talk about Acho going from 4 letters to 3 letters, as he started to really talk about it, I'm really here for something else. And that's okay, Acho. I'm here to release you of this PC world. Here's the thing that I laugh at. This world is not absolute. It's relative. It's nuanced. My therapist always says the world is not black or white. It's not even gray. It's silver because it has life in the middle. So that gray area we always talk about, enhance it. And that's where we all exist. But we don't want to go through all those details, so we say something that's just going to land correctly for others' ears instead of what we really feel authentically in our hearts. So when I look at a situation like this, there are 32 teams in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
You trying to tell me, Bruce Arians, that your goal and the reality is if you don't win a Super Bowl, I'm a bust as a coach.
Yes.
You're a bust as a quarterback. We're a bust as a team. Okay. That's a damn lie.
It's not.
I'm going to tell you why it's a damn lie. Because I've been on teams where we didn't win the Super Bowl. How about all 4 teams? How about all 10 years? And guess what? Guys went on to positive outcomes no matter what. Let me raise my hand and say the first one. I think we were 6-10 my contract year in Buffalo. We tried to win every damn game. We tried to get in the playoffs, but we didn't. But do you know when that final game ended, what I said to myself internally, because I didn't want the theatrics to get in the way and people misread me? Oh, it's on. Your boy just got 10.5 sacks in the contract year. It's cracking. Was I a bust? No, I went on to greater heights. Now, let's talk about the team.
Please.
The team was in a position where they were able to build going forward.
Yes, sir.
There are teams that right now are going to lose in the playoffs, and we don't think positive of them. Let's go back to last year. When the Tennessee Titans went out there and upset the 14-2 Baltimore Ravens and then was in a fight with the Kansas City Chiefs, then they got smoked. What did people say? Ooh, next year. No one looked at them as a bust team. We had higher expectations of them. Make it make sense. Separate the rhetoric from the reality. Bruce Arians, I know what you're saying, and I know I would have said the same thing. And then I went back in that locker room and said, that's the goal, but that may not be the reality.
I like that. I like separate the rhetoric from the reality. I like when you come up here with big words and you try to confuse people.
Reality's a big word?
Rhetoric. Oh, okay. Look, the word you said, which is the operative word, which we all need to pay attention to, is expectations. What was it? 2003, 2004 season, NBA. The Lakers acquired Karl Malone. They had Gary Payton. They had Kobe Bryant, the late, great Kobe. They had Shaquille O'Neal. You got 4 future Hall of Famers. The expectation was to win it all.
Yep.
So when you go up against the Pistons and lose in 5,
we saw that.
That was a bust because the Pistons were a less talented team than that Lakers team.
Wasn't a bust.
That season, if it was boom or bust, if it was pass or fail, that season was a failure. In 2007,
I see why.
Randy Moss joins the New England Patriots. Sets a receiving record individually. Tom Brady, only season he ever eclipsed 50 touchdowns. They went 16-0, a perfect football season. But that season was not considered a success. Ask any Patriots fan. Ask any football fan. Ask any analyst. That season was not considered a success because they didn't achieve the ultimate goal based on the expectations, based on and predicated upon the talent level of that team.
Ooh.
You got 4 Hall of Famers. You got Antonio Brown, we know that. Rob Gronkowski, we know that. Tom Brady, we know that. And Mike Evans, who Tom Brady said is a Hall of Famer. And Tom Brady, if he knows anything about Hall of Famers, he should be able to classify what one is. So you got a team with 4 Hall of Famers on offense. That's more than 33% of the roster. Offensively is Hall of Famers. You're talking offensive starters, and more than 33% of them is Hall of Famers. The expectation, sir, is higher. So it has to be pass or fail. We don't look at the 07 Patriots season and say, oh, y'all were 16-0. Success. We say, oh, y'all didn't win at all. Failure. That's what we're going to do with this Bucs team.
What I love about you, one of the things, I love a lot of things about you. A few things I hate, but you already know those.
That's real. That's real.
You're a writer. I say we got a mission. You coming. You prepared. You're ready. You're full of the energy. You're going to go there. The only thing that sometimes I push back on you is, which direction are you going? Because you're going to ride no matter what. Once you say, let's go, lock in.
I'm a real one.
Yeah.
I don't ask where we stopping at. I don't. You just say we going. I say, let's go.
And you know me, I'm going to say, where are we going? hey, somebody jumping out you. Why? What do you do? I am not riding until I know why I'm riding. That's the difference between you and I. Acho, I think we're starting off at the wrong place. You think the NFL is pass or fail. You came up here with an example from the University of Texas, pass or fail.
Yes, sir.
You know in pass-fail classes, they're not 100% or 0%.
That's correct.
It's 65, 70%. Or whatever. Who cares? You could be at 64%. That's fail. In the NFL, it's the same situation. Do you know that Super Bowl losers still have a party? You ever been to a Super Bowl?
Last year.
See? Hold on.
But I ain't
Hold on. Y'all just had a bust season and y'all celebrating? What are you?
Let me tell you.
Now tell me your
experience is expertise.
Okay.
A lot of my homies played for the Niners. So I went to that party.
Of course
you
did.
know who wasn't there celebrating? The players. Family was.
No, don't
Parents
do that.
were. I was in the joint.
Wait a second.
I was in the joint.
Hold on. Darnell went to the party too. And he went with his boy who's a player. So that's one.
Just because you eating don't mean you celebrate.
Just
because you eating don't mean you celebrate. Who was in there, Jay?
I didn't say going on the dance floor and cutting the rug like you ain't never been out before.
You got to eat.
The point is, the organization threw a party that spent millions of dollars. It don't matter how.
It was pre-planned. It was pre-planned.
It occurred. You're starting to lose a little of your point, and you're starting to now grasp for straws. Here's another situation I want to tell you. The GOAT before Tom Brady did exactly what Tom Brady is doing right now, and according to you, failed. Joe Montana left, not on his own accord, but left San Francisco, did he not? And he went to Kansas City.
Correct.
And went to the AFC Championship game. And no one looking at history has ever said that was a bust season for Joe Montana. So if it's good enough for Joe Montana to just fall just short and still be the GOAT and still be the greatest and not even have an asterisk on his resume, why would Tom Brady all of a sudden find himself in that situation? I haven't even hit you with my point yet. That's just me retaliating on you because I listen to you, dog. I'm an active listener.
I'm worried.
Be real about football.
Yes, sir.
They're all black belts, right? So imagine there are 32 teams, let's say 32 people, and they're all Bruce Lees. You ain't gonna kick everybody butt.
You're not.
And if you don't kick everybody butt, it's kind of expected because we're all black belts. The dominoes have already started falling in the NFL. The first domino to fall was the New York Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And teams continue to find themselves on the outside of a Super Bowl or bust scenario. But some of those teams are going to deem this year a success, a building block to greater success later. I just get a little issue, you know me, you already said it, when it gets so polarizing, so extreme, so absolute, that if you don't do it all, you didn't do anything.
That's fair, and I understand the take. It's not that either of us are right or wrong. I think we just see things differently, which is okay. Let me tell you exactly why I see it how I do.
Okay.
If you're Tom Brady, Sal, you was just 12-4. You just made the playoffs. Like, you just went to round one. You got eliminated, but you were just there. So how could you quantify, qualify, deduce that you had a successful season if you were to do the same thing? Like, you just left a place in which you were not happy based on the achievement and based on the roster at hand. Like, you just left a place in which you went to the playoffs 12-4. Boom, I'm out of here. Now, why would you go to the playoffs at either 10-6 or 11-5, not win and be like, oh, well, that was a lot more successful than where I just was? No, Sal, and you like track, and I am Buck ain't in this block, and I don't even remember where this analogy was supposed to come up. But I'm going to go here.
Let's go.
Usain Bolt, greatest Olympic sprinter of all time. Usain Bolt, greatest sprinter of all time. Has the world record, 100, 200, etc. It's not a success for Usain Bolt to stand on the podium with the silver or bronze medal. That's not a success. You're the world record holder. You're the greatest to ever do it. It's not a success for Usain Bolt just to stand on the podium. It's a success for Usain Bolt to stand on the podium with a gold medal. After Usain Bolt in 2017, his last year, when he lost, but still got third, he wasn't smiling. He wasn't up there cheesing. Why? Because he got third, and his expectations is to win gold. For Tom Brady, he's not about to be smiling and cheesing if he loses. So if Tom Brady's not going to be happy with anything outside of a Super Bowl, how can you be happy with anything outside of a Super Bowl for him?
Yeah, one, because I don't read someone's emotional response as the only indicator of success. People will do that all the time. You can give somebody a gift, and they're not necessarily happy with it. But that doesn't mean that they're not thankful for it. That doesn't mean they don't have gratitude. It just means like, that ain't exactly what I wanted, but I'm still happy with this. This is a situation, I'm going to use Tom Brady against Tom Brady. In his first 5 years as a starter, he won 3 Super Bowl championships. Let that sink in. Now, Tom Brady in his entire career in New England, 20 years, won 6 Super Bowl championships. That would add up to 14 bust seasons, according to Bruce Arians and now Emmanuel Acho. Are you trying to tell me through all the years, and there were more years, twice as many years, that he didn't win it all than he did, that you looked at Tom Brady as a bust? And if you did, how in the hell is he walking around here now calling himself the GOAT?
Let's separate team from player. Let's do that real quick.
Okay, I'm with you. I'll go anywhere.
I would say that the Patriots season was a bust. Tom Brady's season may have been a success. I think that's the delineation line.
Then?
Yes.
And now.
And now. I think you and I got to look at, okay, there's a fence in between us. I'm looking at your grass.
I'm a hop.
You looking at mine.
Dirty, brown.
Stop jumping these fences. I got turf, okay? Stop playing. Tom Brady can win an MVP. Tom Brady can go to a Pro Bowl. Tom Brady can get a first team, second team, third team All-Pro. Tom Brady can have individual success and the Patriots not have team success. Marcellus, Wiley, you've already said it.
I said that.
You said you had some 10-sack seasons. You had a 13.5 sack season, if I'm not mistaken. You're high, you're 10.5, you're second high. You've had individual success.
Yeah.
But the team can still not have collective success. The Buccaneers, the right mentality for them as a team is to reach the pinnacle. Now, Levante David, linebacker for them, can ball. Mike Evans, he can ball. Chris Godwin, he can ball. Gronkowski can ball. Antonio Brown can ball. Tom Brady. The individuals can have success.
Yeah.
But what it comes down to in a team game is, did we, the team, reach the pinnacle of success?
I would love to land there, except
Come on, bro.
I'm going to tell you the truth, because you've been on teams. The team is nothing but a culmination of all of us as individuals. And if we can all do it together, that's called a Super Bowl championship. But only one team can do that. And 31 other teams are sitting there with a culmination of individuals who are looking at their situation, some successful, some not. Many not saying bust, but they didn't win the Super Bowl. I give it to you like this, because I hate these kind of comments, because it's empty rhetoric. It's just for people to say, yeah, and not think about what was just said. Take a class at MIT. I dare you.
Sheesh.
Yeah, me either. Columbia for skits and giggles. But no, go to MIT, and it's a class. You walk in there, you start counting. 32 students in there. All right, we waiting for the teacher to come in. Professor walks in. And you're like, oh, he looks intimidating, because he looks smart as hell. And he says, okay, class, we're going to give out one A. And everybody else is getting an F.
I like where you're going. I like where you're going here.
You know where I'm going.
I like where you're going.
And then he said, let the games begin. You go through the whole course load, nerd on nerd on nerd crime, everybody battling. Someone gets 100, a perfect. You get a 99.97. Oh, Acho, since we're only giving out one A, you had a bust. You had a F. You take this F and run. Seriously, Acho, in front of others, once again, your emotional response would be like, damn, I wanted that one A. But be real. Are you really going home saying, I'm so defeated, this was a bust of a semester, because you are the one sitting on the outside when there was only one opportunity for that success?
That's a good take. Personally,
I wouldn't.
No. But remember, I
Neither.
told y'all this yesterday. After our 10-6 season, my third year in the NFL,
Okay.
I was celebrating because we had won 10 games that year. So I'm thinking, yo, this is the NFL.
Yeah.
10 games hard to do. You know that. It's hard to win 10.
Hell yeah.
But other players who had won Super Bowls are looking at me like, how you celebrating 10 wins? We're not even making the playoffs, because the Cowboys made the playoffs that year over us.
All right.
I was like, yo, I'm happy. He was like, he's not. And I think that's the pivotal difference. So if Mike Evans were to be asked Super Bowl, that's different. Mike Evans, nah, man, I mean, I'm just trying to make the playoffs. I've never done that before. Chris Godwin, I'm just trying to make the playoffs. I've never done that before. But to Tom Brady, even to Bruce Arians, because Bruce Arians has won Super Bowls, not as a head coach. Head coach has gone to a conference championship. But even to Bruce Arians, to guys who have won Super Bowls, they're not going to be happy. Let me ask you this. We asking each other quality questions.
I
Let me
like
ask you
this conversation.
Have you ever seen a coach on any of your teams celebrate at the end of the season? Not, hey, man, that's a good season. Not, hey, man, y'all did well. But have you ever seen a coach celebrate at the end of the season? Your answer would have to be no, because you never won a Super Bowl like mine.
Yeah, I never saw celebrations because, like you said, we lost in the playoffs 3 different times, so it wasn't a celebration in that moment. But, you know, we have the player exit meetings, and then you start to get your emotions back, and all of the issues you had with the loss go and subside, and then you go into a meeting with someone, and you start to talk in a positive tone. But celebration, not at all. What year was that you were 10-6 in Philadelphia?
2014.
2014.
Yes, sir.
Of all of this amazing content and conversation we just had, one thing I realized is that some things never change, because the Cowboys still gonna make the playoffs over the years.